Hey Hermit, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dara and today we are going to be working on putting together my Kindle TBR. So every couple of months I like to just have a little look at what I have sitting on my Kindle and create a little collection of things that I'm really excited to read in the near future. And I think I mentioned my process for doing this during my recent Kindle organization video, so I will link to that in the description box if you haven't seen it already. But we're just gonna open up my Kindle via the iPad so that we can see a bit better and go through my different folders and just pick some books that look like a good time. I have been in a bit of a reading slump over the past few weeks, so I just want to choose things that I think are going to be fun, entertaining, quick moving, delicious, like all of the good things. So I think I want to make a TBR of no more than maybe 10 books, just so that I'm not overwhelmed by choice. Decision fatigue is a thing that I suffer from fairly regularly, so I don't want to overload myself, because what ends up happening is I just don't read the books. I just avoid the books, and nobody wants to be avoiding the books. That's not why we're here. So without further ado, I'm going to spin the camera around and we'll start making our choices. Okay, and I will say that I'm holding on to my phone freehand, so please forgive me if it's a little bit shaky. Let's start with the first folder and see if there's anything in there that I would like to add for this month. I think this one is one that I'm eager to get to. So that's Woman Eating by Claire Coder. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it to my TBR folder. Business and Money, I am not going to pick anything because I actually have a physical business, in fact 2 physical business and money books that I'm working on at the moment. Classics, I'm also not going to pick anything from because I am currently listening to a classic via audio. But let's look in contemporary and lit fic. I feel like I want to read this one soon, so let's go ahead and add that to the TBR folder. That is Brown Girls by Daphne Palasi Andreades. Is there anything else in here that I want to be reading imminently? There are definitely a couple of others that I have my eye on, but for now I'm just going to go with that one. I did say that I wanted to keep my list to a maximum of 10, and I don't want to make all of my choices too soon. I'm definitely looking forward to reading At the Quiet Edge. That's a maybe. I also want to read Everything I Never Told You, so let's add that one now. Yeah, and I think we'll go for At the Quiet Edge. Okay. Essays and short stories. I'm not sure if anything is speaking to me right now. But then I also know that I've got a short story collection out from the library. The hold just came in, so maybe I'll leave these for now. Historical fiction. I feel like there are definitely going to be things in here because this is definitely, certainly 100% my favourite genre. Just having a quick skim through before we go back and look through properly. Okay. I know I want to read City on Fire soon. That looks really, really good. Obviously everything looks really good. That's why I bought them. I want to read Great Circle as well. The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I think I mentioned that in the series that I want to start in 2022 video, which I'll link to that in the description if you haven't had a chance to check that one out yet. My Policeman is definitely up there on the like priority list. So is the final revival of Opal and Nev. Let's add that to the mix. I've been thinking about Daisy Jones and the Six a lot recently, and that's got a similar sort of premise, so it might just scratch that itch for me. Is there anything else in here that I'm feeling sooner rather than later? Do you know what? I'm going to go for the Wolf Den as well. So I feel like I've got quite a variety of historical fiction. Yeah, I feel good about that. Magic and fantasy. I'm definitely wanting to read this one soon. The Mermaid of Black Conch. I definitely want to start A Stitch in Time soon. But I'm not sure if I'm feeling it for right now, so I'll leave that for the moment. I also know that I do want to start Fortuna Sworn soon. But again, I'm not sure now is the right moment for that. I might leave that with just The Mermaid of Black Conch for magic and fantasy for now. Is there anything from memoirs and biography? I love the sound of this one. So Delicacy, a memoir about cake and death. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. That one is one that I'm excited to read, that's for sure. And then I've also been thinking that I want to read Orange is the New Black, because I want to start rewatching the Netflix show. I never finished it, but I watched the first couple of seasons, and I feel like I want to go back to the beginning and watch them all, but maybe I'll read the book before I do that. For now, I think I'm going to add this one. Non-fiction I'm going to leave. Recipe is going to leave. Retellings, let's have a look. I am going to add Entreat Me to the list, because we don't have any romance yet. And I always like to have a few romantic options, especially when we get towards the summer. Speaking of which, romance. I really want to read China Rich Girlfriend. I'm trying to make my way through some of those series that I own, and that will help me with that. I think I also want to try this one, Like You Love Me by Adriana Locke. I would quite like to finish The Heart Principle as well by Helen Huang, because then I will be done with the Kiss Quotient series. Fault Lines by Emily Atami, that one is definitely high on the list. Yeah, I think I will add that. There are a couple more here that I want to read, but I just don't want to make it too big a list, and we have quite a few on there. Let me just check what's in uncollected. What do we have? I'm just going to put that in the right folder now. So that one's going crime and thrillers. So the TBR is looking pretty decent. So the first two, ignore those. Those are two books that I've got in progress at the moment. So we have Woman Eating by Claire Coder, which is a vampire story. We have Brown Girls, which is a story about female friendship and like race, privilege, prejudice, all of that kind of thing. Everything I Never Told You is like a family drama. At the Quiet Edge is a thriller. The Final Arrival of Oprah Nev, which is a historical fiction set, I want to say like in the 60s, possibly in the 70s. The Wolf Den is a historical fiction novel set in Pompeii. The Mermaid of Black Conch is a Caribbean mermaid story. Delicacy is a memoir. Entreat Me is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. China Rich Girlfriend is the second installment in the Crazy Rich Asian series, which I loved the first one. Like You Love Me is a small town marriage of convenience kind of vibe. The Heart Principle is a love story which closes out the Kiss Quotient series, like I said. And Fault Lines is I believe it's set in Japan, and it is a modern day love story that features, I believe it's like a difficult marriage, or like a marriage that hits the rocks, something like that. I know there's something that I know the main characters are married when the book starts, so I'm not sure if it's their love story or if they separate and it's someone else's love story. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm really obsessed with this cover, so I know that I want to get to it soon. So that's a pretty decent TBR. I'm pretty excited about each and every one of these books. So yeah, feeling good about that. So there you have it, friends, all of the Kindle books that I'm most excited to read right now. So if you've read any of these books, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Obviously, don't leave any spoilers, but let me know which one I should start with first. That's it from me today. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will see you in my next upload.